Welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. My name is Rhonda Daniel. I'm the club president, and we are so glad that you're with us today. Let's begin by having our volunteers. Oh, they're already forward. Okay. Invocation will be by Jerry Dillon. Song and Pledge by Bob Reed. Thank you, Tom, for playing the piano. And past President Steve. All right, let's take a moment. And he does this every week, so we really do appreciate you. And then visitor introduction will be by past President Steve Clark. So Jerry, would you please lead?
Mother Teresa said, "I see God in every human being. When I was washing the wounds of lepers, I felt like I was nursing God himself." And she said, "Is that not a beautiful thing?" And years ago when we began our work with orphans in India, she handed out cards, and on that card it says, "The fruit of silence is prayer. The fruit of prayer is faith. The fruit of faith is love. The fruit of love is service. And the fruit of service is peace." Silence. Let's pray. So Father, as I begin our prayer in silence, we know, and we've heard from Mother Teresa, it is in silence that our hearts, you speak to us. So we want to listen. We know that you're a friend of silence, and we need to listen. It's not what we say to you, but what you say to us that matters. Amen.
Thank you, Jerry. That was beautiful. Please join me in singing "God Bless America," followed by the pledge. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her. Of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. You're attending club number 2500 in District 6110. I am happy to introduce our guest today, and if you will stand briefly as I call your name along with your host, we will recognize you after the introductions. Dr. Chris Pankratz is the guest of Corey Nickerson and David Wagner. Guests of our President Rhonda are Hunter Maddox with the Rotary Club, Whitney Collins, her assistant, and her husband, Terry Daniel. Steve Turnbow is the guest of David Wagner. Guests of our speaker today are Dan Clayton, Sean Wines, Shane Netherton, Bill Ivey, Lauren Brookie, and Robin Bellinger, who is a board member of TCC. Glenn Zanotti is the guest of Tom Payne. Greg Patterson is the guest of Bob McKenzie. And Treva Wyruth is the wife and guest of Don Wyruth. Would you welcome all of these guests, please? Visiting Rotarians from other clubs is Martin Garber from the Bartlesville Noon Club. He is also a TC board member. Thanks for making Rotary a part of your day. Please come back anytime.
I want to thank our Rotary sponsor, for supporting our club activities this week is Melissa Clark with WPX Energy. We welcome Melissa Clark as our new sponsor. Also, I'd like to take a moment and thank our volunteers who came early to make this meeting run smoothly. Let's give them a round of applause. We have 3 committee meetings today: Above and Beyond Awards in room 233, IBA in room 232, and International Projects in room 234. I have a few announcements to make today. Most of you know this, but it is with great sadness that I extend condolences on behalf of the club on the passing of our past district governor, LeVan Kelly, on Sunday, and his daughter, Susan Kelly Fesperman, last Thursday. A memorial service for LeVan is set for 3 p.m. Sunday, February 1st at the First Presbyterian Church. Please keep Betty and the rest of the Kelly family in your prayers. In addition to the condolences card for the Kelly family, we have get well cards on your table for extending words of encouragement to Tom Campbell, who is home recovering from surgery. Please take a moment and put your kind words on the cards. This Friday is the deadline to sign up for the January 30th bowling social event at the Dust Bowl. You must register in advance so that we can plan for you to eat and bowl. So that is prepaid. And if you would like to just come and have a drink and watch everyone else bowl, you don't have to register. Now I have something. Do y'all remember the movie Steve Martin in The Jerk? You know when he said, "We're in the phone book? We're in the phone book. I'm in the phone book," you know, and he danced around. Anybody remember that, or am I the only one that remembers that? Okay. Where's Bob McKenzie? You're in the Rotary magazine. Jump around. You are in the magazine. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, it's on page 70 in the Rotary magazine, and he is being spotlighted for the In Polio Now race, so congratulations, Bob. And now it is my honor to have Dr. Leigh Goodson come to the stage with me, please, to the microphone. You can stand next to me.
Okay.
I'm going to read. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Rotary Club of Tulsa, it is my privilege to bestow this honorary membership upon Dr. Leigh Goodson, who has distinguished herself by meritorious service in the furtherance of Rotary ideals throughout her professional career. Not done yet.
Okay.
Honorary membership is the highest distinction of a club that we may bestow and conferred only in exceptional cases. Dr. Goodson, it is our honor to have you join our club.
Thank you.
Okay, is that good?
Yes. Thank you.
We always give gifts. All right, now I have some project announcements. Joe Moran, if you would come forward, please. We have a Club Foundation grant check to present to a beautiful member of our club, Desiree Daugherty.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
And Joe, you're beautiful too.
No, it's with great pleasure on behalf of the Community Foundation Grants Committee that we are presenting a check of $3,000 to the Parent-Child Center. And to receive this check today, we have our very own Desiree Daugherty, the CEO. Will you tell us what you'll do with the money?
Thank you, Joe. Thank you all so much. The Parent-Child Center is grateful to receive this grant, which we will be using for new wireless laptops for our home visitors. When they go out they stay on the road, so to speak, and when they're in the homes doing parenting education about child development and child health and child safety and parenting, child nurturing activities, they can use this equipment, these technologies, in order to be as efficient and effective as possible. So thank you for making that possible. We really appreciate it.
Now, Trish, what exciting news do you have for us today?
Thank you, President Rhonda. Hi, Lauren. My announcement is related, for those who weren't here the last couple of weeks, to the South Central Rotary Youth Exchange. We're having our conference this weekend. We have 200 high school international students coming to Tulsa and 100 Rotarians that are coming for training. So for those of you who've already signed up for this Friday night to home host one of our Youth Exchange students, or if you're volunteering on Friday, the Youth Exchange folks, Joy, Alicia, etc., would you stand up so we can recognize you? I just want to thank you so much for doing it. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to the students. And for those of you who didn't have who weren't quite sure if they could sign up, you are so lucky, because this has never happened before, but we are 3 days out and we have found spaces for all the kids. It's just amazing. So thank you very much. But we usually lose about 10 the couple of days before, illness, going out of town. So if you can be a backup person, that would really be awesome. We'll only call you if we need you. So if you could be a backup person for us, would you please see me after the meeting? I'll be right there and I'll take down your information. And then for those of you who've been very intrigued by these announcements and want to think about hosting one of our Youth Exchange students for 3 months next year, we will be seeking those host families in about 30 days. So Jeff Weddle or somebody will probably be making announcements about that, but think about it and let us know what any of your questions are, and we'll be happy to talk with you about it. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you, Trish, that you have put a lot of energy and time in this, and I'm so proud of all the volunteers in our club, so thank you again for your time. Now I'd like Hunter Maddox to come to the side mic. He is with the Tulsa Rotaract Club, and he has something very exciting to share with us.
Good afternoon. We are trying to get out front this year. Last year we had our annual fundraiser, Wine, Cheese, and Chocolate. It was extremely successful, so we sold out, very successful. We have upped the ante this year, a little bigger venue. We'll be going downtown at AHA. It will be April 23rd. We are looking for more sponsors this year. If you guys would love, we're trying to grow and provide more funding for both RTT and the Janetta Bachelor Foundation, which are the two local charities we sponsor. Please look us up on Facebook, or feel free to check us out on the Rotaract page or email me directly. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Hunter. I've already put that in my calendar, so that's going to be a great time. Sarge, what you doing? Okay. Did I steal some spotlight here?
Looks like Bob McKenzie's going to be up next week. Hello, everyone. Oh, apparently we're having a timeout, so if we can run some commercials or something. I will tell you one thing. If you have the pleasure of sitting next to Alicia at some point, before you even get the chance to sit down, she's cracking some joke or something. We are going to be kept on our toes next year. So
Keep going.
we are going.
Okay.
We're live. Here we go. All right. Reminder for anyone who's not familiar with our club, all the fines announced today go to the local foundation, and on the screen are some of the wonderful projects that we get involved with funds from the foundation. So we are missing some. Well, I'm going to start with Jerry. So this was an interesting, I haven't had this happen yet. So I sent Jerry a note saying, happy birthday, Jerry. No, this is an old presentation. Well, this isn't going to work very well. I'm going to go off here. Yeah. Oh, he's telling me it's happening soon. So I'm going to give you the background on this. So I sent Jerry a note wishing him happy birthday for his recent birthday he had, but given his generosity already during my Sarge time, there was no need to pay a fine. I got an email back saying, you don't know what you're doing. Sarges never try and not solicit fines, so I'm going to give you $100 and here are all the reasons why. So you'll see the slide in a minute, but thank you for keeping me on my toes, Jerry. All right. Thankfully, I have my cheat sheet. Linda Adloff, I cannot remember the date of your birthday, but I know it was recent, and she gave us $50 for water wells. So thank you very much, Linda. Apparently Michael has a better cheat sheet than me. So next up, I've got to know, actually, being in the club, that there are quite a few accomplished authors in our club, none the least of which was Hannibal Johnson. And I sent a note for his birthday, and in the meantime, Karen alerted me at the board meeting that he also had a great article in Oklahoma Today magazine. It's the African American issue, and Hannibal was highlighting the story of George and Lena Sorna, who early in the 20th century did some remarkable work cutting through all the social conventions that existed and paving the way for African Americans in this state. So I just saw you over there, Hannibal. Thank you very much for your $50 and for all the work you do. So I sent an email to Jerry Murator a week ago. And the end of the story was his son Matt got a scholarship playing soccer, and one of his soccer jerseys was 13, which rounded up to $100. So thank you very much again, Jerry, and to Matt. So the boss had a birthday on January 18th, and she kindly stepped up with $200. But really, most of the money was for her 6-month wedding anniversary with the most amazing man in the world, who is sat right there, Terry. And the $200 she's putting to the Centennial book. So thank you, boss. This is the last slide, so no more cheat sheet. That $200, I also made a donation of $100 yesterday for anyone who knows about the book that's being worked on right now for the Centennial Gala on April 1st. Shortly following that, people who attended the gala will be receiving this oversized, I don't know how large that means, but large coffee table book that Tim, Jerry, and Ron have spent countless hours getting ready to prepare. When you're running a shorter edition, a shorter run of a publication, the costs run a little, and we've had some very generous donations already that John O'Connor's been working with former board members. If anyone has an interest in underwriting and supporting that book, Ron just stepped up. I did half of it because I didn't want to show up the boss with my 100, but if anyone does, please talk to John O'Connor. So thank you very much, and I'm all done.
Thank you, Sarge. You know, I didn't put that I'm the boss. He did that. I didn't do that. Okay. It is now time for our Rotarian of the Day, Michael Turner. Michael's the co-founder of Project Special Courage. Michael has been a member of our club since 2011. Please welcome Rotarian of the Day, Michael Turner.
Well, truly today it is a pleasure, obviously, for all of the Rotarians and visitors and guests and other leaders of Tulsa Community College, very familiar faces out there. But President Leigh Goodson, I have been very fortunate to know for almost 20 years when we both started off in higher education. I was much older, of course. But she has a very common theme among just herself, her personal life and her professional life. And I think obviously if you know her, you have witnessed that, or you've experienced it personally or professionally through many of things that she's served in. And as many of you know, in May of 2014, she was named the 4th president and CEO of Tulsa Community College. She's a native of Tulsa, and she's worked in higher education most of her career. She's served in numerous leadership capacities and roles with Oklahoma State University. Most recently, before taking over the helm at TCC, she was the vice president for research and institutional advancement, serving at multiple campuses, the OSU Center for Health Sciences, College of Osteopathic Medicine, and the OSU Tulsa branch. Her ties to education go back to the days as a faculty member in the classroom, and then obviously her roles in management and administrator. And she also serves as a school board member for Tulsa Public Schools, and you may have heard that maybe they're looking for a superintendent, so she's had a little extra work. Her 10 hours a week has become 25 hours a week of just doing that part. Our family's very fortunate that we live in her school district. Funny story, when she was running for office, I think 3 years ago, very smart, she would take her family with her, so she would come up to your porch and talk to you about supporting her, and then her kids would go down and put signs in your yard. So she's very, very good about that. She also serves on the board of directors for the YMCA of Greater Tulsa, the Oklahoma Innovation Institute. She's a leadership graduate of Leadership Oklahoma. She's also Leadership Tulsa alum, and she's involved with the Tulsa Regional Chamber. She's also very interested in the pipeline for students with STEM, science, technology, math, and engineering. She earned her Doctor of Philosophy, PhD in Education Research and Evaluation from Oklahoma State University, her Master's in Organizational Communication from Fort Hays State University in Kansas, and a Bachelor's of Arts in Political Science from OSU. So as you can see, she's covered the realm of many things academic and non-academic. And I have to tell you, when I first met her in '95, she was in grad school and I was in grad school. We were working full time, going to grad school at night, and I hated research, still do. Jan Clayton, Dr. Clayton can attest to this. And so she was like talking about all this research stuff she did. And even though I was taking quantitative, qualitative research, I had no clue what she was talking about. She's that smart, or I'm that dumb. I don't know. Anyway, something like that. But very, very bright. Her husband, Mark, great guy, and her 2 children, obviously products of Tulsa Public Schools. So my pleasure again to introduce my friend, Dr. Leigh Goodson.
Dr. Turner, thank you for that introduction. I was worried, when you said 20 plus years, I was worried about what story you might tell and was greatly relieved when you kept it clean. So anyway, but thank you, President Rhonda, for having me here today. I'm really glad to be here. And what an honor to be an honorary Rotarian. I know you take that seriously, and I really appreciate that today. I'm so glad to be here today speaking before the Rotary Club of Tulsa, and want to congratulate everybody here on your 100-year anniversary. What a great accomplishment. And the accomplishments you talk about in just one meeting, think about 100 years of that. So the footprint that you've put here in Tulsa is really tremendous. I also want to recognize members of our team at Tulsa Community College, and we have 2 board members here today, Regent Ballinger and Regent Garber. And I always like to say Tom McKeon knew how to hire. He put a great team together, and I was so fortunate to come in and be part of it. And then, of course, our volunteer board members. It's a tremendous amount of responsibility and time that they devote to Tulsa Community College. And so we greatly appreciate the expertise they bring to the team also. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about, I'm going to talk to you as leaders in our community and share my personal story and why I think Tulsa Community College is so important to Tulsa and the nation. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my personal journey first. And as members of Rotary and leaders in the community, your organized focus is service to others. And I want you to be sensitive and to challenge you with the opportunities that you have in your path and how you can achieve things for others with some of the decisions that you make as you go along. As leaders, I feel like we have the responsibility to steward those opportunities as they relate to you and to others. And I'm reminded of the motto and of the Celia Clinton Elementary, of course, the Rotary-sponsored Partner in Education School. And as a board member, I just want to personally thank you for the work you do with Celia Clinton. But my path to success begins with a dream and continues with hard work, determination, and a belief I can do it. And so I just want to say that's just so important, and I'm just so happy for you all and for Celia Clinton with that partnership. But it's really a quote and a motto that we can really live by, that we can do it. And I'm going to talk to you here in a minute about how you can show that to others. 3 things I'm going to talk to you about today. Some points of impact that I've had in my life that relate to how I got to this point, the role of community colleges both nationally and locally, and then our plans at TCC for the future. So I'll tell you just a little bit about my personal journey, and I did meet Dr. Turner actually at a statewide conference for academic advisors, and we've known each other and followed each other since. But along the way, I've had some points of impact that I really think have gotten me to where I am at this moment. And I'm going to tell you about 3 of them. One is I'm a YMCA kid. And you may have heard this about me before because I like to brag about it. I love the YMCA. Of course, Susan Plank and Will Smith are members of this club. The CEO and our current chairman of the YMCA are members here. But I'm a Y kid, and my mom and Dad both worked. They would drop me off at Thornton YMCA all summer long, both of us, at about 8:30. And that was before structured day camp. So we just hung out at the YMCA all day, and then they'd pick us up at 5. And over the years, my mom decided she wanted us to leave completely, and so she sent us to Camp Takatoka. And I always like to ask people if you've been to Camp Takatoka or if you sent your kids to Camp Takatoka. There's always a few, yes, what a great place. And so I was staff at Camp Takatoka when I was in college, and the summers were long. We'd go 12 weeks, and each session was 2 weeks long before the movement of helicopter parents when we still sent kids to camp for 2 full weeks. And we were in the last session of camp, and the staff, we were tired, and it was hot, and it was the first week of August. And every session, do you remember last night campfire, which I think they do this at camps all over the place, but you had last night campfire, and you'd sing Friends Are Friends Forever, and everybody cried, and you were sad. And so we did this big production every session so that the kids, the campers, would really have a great memory and be able to kind of culminate the event. And there was always a staff person that had to chair last night campfire. And none of us volunteered. We were so tired and hot and ready to go and ready to get back to school, and none of us volunteered. And Marilyn Wilson was the director at the time, and she came up to me. I could tell she was frustrated with all of us. She was like, somebody needs to volunteer for this. And she came up to me and she said, Leigh, God gives everybody a gift, and we are obligated to use that gift to help other people. I go, okay, Marilyn, I'm trying to get her to get to the point, I remember this. And she goes, so you're a tremendous leader, and you're going to chair last night campfire. And I'm in college. I'm not even 20 yet, so I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And so I did it, but it was just a moment. It was a great last night campfire. It was one of the best we had. We all kind of rallied. I said, okay, Marilyn said we really do have to have one this session. And but it was a moment for me where I realized leadership is more than being in charge and having fun being in charge. It's a responsibility that we have. And so that was a point of impact that really Marilyn Wilson gave to me that I really appreciated. 2 other points of impact, and I said hello to my good friend Tom Allen today. Hello, Dr. Allen. Were at the Oklahoma State University Center for Health Sciences. One was right before I began. Dr. Wynette Pegues, who's a great educational leader here in Tulsa, and Dr. Tom Allen made the decision to hire me 9 months pregnant. In fact, my meeting with Dr. Allen was on my due date. And I walked away from that, and I know we've come a long way still to know that somebody's going to have a tremendous amount of new additional responsibility, and to hire me 9 months pregnant when my husband was getting transferred to Tulsa was just a great gift and a point of impact that really had a lot of influence on me. So thank you, Dr. Allen and Dr. Pegues. And then Dr. Paul Coro, who, God rest his soul, is a cardiothoracic surgeon but was our chief academic officer there. He and Dr. Allen decided to promote me when they decided to merge 2 really large departments. And I didn't really have the experience, and I didn't really have the degree yet. I was in the middle of my doctoral work, but another time when they took a risk on me. And so those are 3 points of impact. There are others, but those were pretty big moments that really created a trajectory for me to be able to use my leadership skills. So I tell you that to tell you that I've had people take risks on me to create those points of impact. And so in turn, I like to pay it forward and take risks on others. The importance of optimizing these points of impact and not being afraid to take risks and being prepared to take opportunities are presented to us as leaders. And we know the Rotary motto is service above self, and it's a great responsibility that we have to others. Something we strongly believe in also at Tulsa Community College, which is, I think, just one reason I'm so glad to be part of the TCC family. I'm sure this is a moment where I just want to point out at Tulsa Community College, this is really part of our culture. I'm sure many of you in this room know Tulsa Nate Waters. Nathan lived service above self to the fullest, and we're proud to have our new physical therapy clinic named after him. It's just one small thing we can do to keep Nate's memory alive. But Nate modeled this. I want to just talk to you for a moment about why the field of education. And I think in America, we talk about, some people call public education the great American experiment, and really allowing everybody access to that education regardless of your background, your income level, where you come from. And I think that it really is not only the experiment, but it's one that's worked. And it's the great equalizer that we have in the United States, one that is really not available at the level we deliver it anywhere else in the world. And so it's really important to me to provide those opportunities to everybody. I've had people ask me, why did you want to get involved in Tulsa Public Schools? And I remember the moment that someone suggested it to me, and I just thought, wow, that's a big responsibility. And then I thought, of course, there's no better way to really be close to the work and make the greatest amount of impact than to serve on a school board. And I'm proud to still be on that board, and we're having a tremendous time with our superintendent search. I'm very excited about our 2 finalists that you've probably been reading about in the paper. But I think what's happened along the way is my university experience and my common education experience have really come together here at Tulsa Community College, and we're connecting the dots and using the continuum of that to really address the educational needs here in Tulsa, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that. But I'm just so proud to be here now at Tulsa Community College. I was speaking on the phone with someone the other day yesterday actually at the Tulsa World, and we were, of course, talking about the superintendent search, and then he said, well, how's the job? How's the day job? And I said, I love it. It's so great. And he said, I can hear the smile through the phone. And it's just been such a great fit, and the opportunity to touch both Common Ed and Higher Ed in the same role has been tremendous. It's afforded me the opportunity to be in a position of impact and to change and affect future generations through the influence of education. I'm going to switch now to the role of community colleges both nationally and here in Tulsa. And some of you hopefully listened to the President's State of the Union address and probably saw it in a press release that he sent out, but President Obama recently announced a proposal to make community college free. And we're so pleased here in Tulsa to see that the Tulsa Achieves concept has been recognized nationally. When the program was announced in 2007, enrollment for first-time students nearly doubled in the first year. That really shows us that expense is an obstacle to education. Even when the expense is lower as it is at the community college level, any expense can leave a student out. To date, more than 12,000 students have received college credit as a result of Tulsa Achieves. An educated workforce is imperative for a strong economy. I speak with employers every day, and they come to me and I go to them, and they look at me and they say, we have to have you following us and following the trends in our industry. So the great thing about a community college is how flexible we are. By offering 2 years, we don't have to deal with 4 more years of curriculum. We can be flexible and meet the demands of industry in a much quicker way. Employers demand skilled workers, and it's our duty to provide them with a qualified workforce. Here's an interesting fact that a lot of people don't know. Among universities, private colleges, private universities, community colleges, for-profit colleges, 40% of college students across the country attend community colleges. The average age of a community college student is 29, and thanks to Tulsa Achieves, the average age at Tulsa Community College is 27. A majority of Tulsa Community College students take developmental classes, and our statistics show that graduation rates are impacted when students are required to take additional prerequisite classes because they aren't prepared for college. Sometimes that can be because they re-entered school after working for a while, and sometimes it's students right out of high school. That really varies. But what we know is that students that come in that take developmental classes sometimes don't stay. So we're laser focused at TCC in finding ways to shorten their time in that prerequisite so they can move on to the credit classes. Accessibility is the key at community colleges. If you graduate from high school, you can come into Tulsa Community College. If you have your GED, you can come into Tulsa Community College, something very different than with our four-year partners. We stay true to our mission of teaching students. Four-year institutions are pulled in a variety of different directions, which I have direct experience with from coming from Oklahoma State. They don't just teach, they're working in research in a variety of areas, but our faculty are laser focused on their teaching mission. We're committed to innovative and flexible, affordable higher education that responds to a dynamic global environment. 37% of our students are from underserved and underrepresented communities. We also provide wraparound services for our students through, in every curriculum, through reading and math and through advising, registration, financial aid. We do everything we can to push those services out to the students rather than requiring them to come to us. We also have great partnerships with our high school partners. You've heard maybe about the Accelerate or concurrent enrollment. I just saw my good friend Dr. Muzon Biggs here today, and he was telling me what a great experience his grandson Parker is having taking concurrent enrollment at Tulsa Community College. So he will go to college with 15 or more credit hours by the time he gets there. And it really gets the students used to the college environment, knowing that they can achieve great things once they go beyond high school. We're also very proud of the achievements that we've had in Tulsa Community College. I had an opportunity, some of you know Barry Steichen with the St. Francis Health System, and of course Mr. Jake Henry was our Vision honoree this year, but we have great partnerships with our healthcare workforce, our healthcare employers here in Tulsa. We're ranked 10th in the country for granting associate's degrees for professionals in healthcare, and our industry partners say we will take as many as you will graduate, so we continue to work with them to enhance those programs. So you can see that we have a lot of partnerships growing, and I also want to mention, I didn't mention some of the four-year partnerships we have with Oklahoma State University, the University of Oklahoma here in Tulsa, Rogers State University, and NSU. Our students can complete 2 years and seamlessly transfer to a four-year university thanks to many of those partnerships. Not only do we have those partnerships, but we work very hard to keep them updated so that our students continue to have that benefit. So now some of the plans that we have for the future. Probably the biggest hurdle that we're going to get through this year is developing a new strategic plan. The one that we'd previously written was ready for some updates, and so we hit the ground running in July, and we will launch that plan and present it to the Board of Regents in April and immediately start working on it. We will continue to look at it every 3 to 5 years, but we're really going to move to more of an organic, living, breathing plan that we're constantly looking at, so we're never out of date. So we're very excited about that. Another goal that we've talked about just internally, and I call this sort of the wind behind our back goal, if you will, we're ranked number 24th in the nation in associate's degrees granted, and we are very proud of that. We would like to be number 1. And some people say, oh, you're just saying number 1 because it's fun to say. And what I like to say about that is let's just set that as the goal so it's constantly pushing us. And let's just have that out there so that we keep working towards it. So we want to build on our strengths and propel ourselves to the next level. We want to be the partner for universities, not just a partner. When universities are looking for partnerships in curriculum and how they can get their students to where they need to be when they come to them, we want to be the place that they go to for that partnership. We want to create a pipeline for students in science, technology, engineering, and math, and we're excited to be a big part of the Tulsa STEM Alliance. We want to optimize and leverage the accessibility of Tulsa Community College to further expand its reach to students of all ages, not just graduating high school students, recognizing the vital role education plays in our society and at every stage in a person's life. We also are very focused on a strategic enrollment management plan to strengthen our enrollment efforts, and it is a continuing process, not just one event in time. We try to make it easy for students to do what we want them to do: get enrolled, get their financial aid in order, be advised. That way they can focus on the work that's going on in the classroom. As president of Tulsa Community College, I must tell you, I stand in awe of my responsibilities to impact the education of our students in a significant way. I do stand in awe as I recognize the points of impact that people have had in my life's journey. And I stand in awe as I look to the future and envision what it can be if we work together in addressing the issues of education for our future workforce. So now I'm going to look to you, Rotarians of Tulsa. As leaders and those who serve others, be powerful in your advocacy for education as a whole. The great American experiment is working, and it works for our economy and for our citizens. Be responsive to opportunities to steward the next generation of leaders. Pay it forward, if you will. A question I often ask myself and challenge you to do the same: what legacy of impact am I leaving behind in my personal journey? And that can be in mass, in large projects, or that can be one person at a time. Thank you for having me today. President Rhonda tells me we have a few minutes for questions, if anyone has some. Yes?
What was your biggest surprise when you first took on the role, once you've been in it a few weeks?
That's Regent Ballinger laughing up here. The question was, what was the biggest surprise after I'd been in the job a few weeks? I was still so bleary-eyed after a few weeks, I don't think I remember. But I think probably the biggest change for me is the size. I came from a branch campus of Oklahoma State University. I was part of a large university system and had functioned in a large university system. But to go from functioning in one to being the chief executive officer of one is quite a transition. I think that we've come a long way, though, in that part of the shock. I'm certainly getting used to it. But I would say, in fairness, it was the size. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
What is the incremental cost for Tulsa Achieve for students? How is that funded? And then what's the typical outcome of those 12,000 students? What do they do after they leave?
What's the incremental cost? Meaning, how much are we?
How much does it cost to educate them?
Right. Okay. Let me explain how Tulsa Achieve works, and that may help answer the question, because I'm not sure I can precisely answer that first question. Tulsa Achieves is gap funding. We require that each student fill out the free application for federal student aid. They receive their federal student aid. They may receive other state aid as well, and then we fill in the gap. So for some students, that's everything, and for other students, it's nothing. What's happened with Tulsa Achieves is that more students come our way as a result. We fund it through our what's called Education in General budget, so we fund it ourselves. Actually, though, I mean, the loss is not that great. It's affordable for us to do it because it increases the number of students that come in with aid as well. It increases both populations of students that come in. Did that answer your question?
What happens typically after the 2 years?
Typically, I mean, it depends on the student, but those students finish at a higher rate than students not coming in and Tulsa achieves at a pretty significant level. And some of them go into the workforce and some go on to a four-year university. Mhm. Any other questions?
Follow-up question to this
Yes.
last night. Do you see what you're doing is duplicatable? It would fit into the president's plan?
The president's plan, I think we have found what I consider a sustainable model financially. The president's model calls for community college to be free for everybody, and that's not the model we're using. So I think catching them right after they come out of high school, knowing that those students will be more successful, is a great investment. I certainly want to see what the rest of the president's plan is, specifically from a financial model. It's important that once you start something like that you can keep it going. And so I'm for it if we can come up with a financial model that works. Yes. Yes, ma'am. She asked, I knew I was going to get this question today. What are some, I'm so glad you asked it, really. What are some of the challenges that Tulsa Public Schools faces in finding a new superintendent? A, making everybody happy. That's the biggest challenge. B, everybody loves Keith Ballard. I mean, even if you don't agree with him, you still love him. I mean, so it's real big shoes to fill. But other than that, I feel very good. I felt good about the pool of 25, and I feel very good about our two finalists. They bring a different skill set. They will have an opportunity to meet with some employees and community members this weekend. I'm very excited about where we are in the search. And it's just, I think it's going to be hard. Landing the Keith Ballard plane is going to be hard for all of us, for him, for everybody. So I think that's the biggest challenge. He really came in and changed the culture of Tulsa Public Schools to, it's at a different place for our community now. Some of you I know Ruth Ann Fate, who's currently the president of our board and the longest sitting board member we have. And I said, Ruth Ann, because I'm chairing the process, and I said, am I doing something wrong? Or she said, it's never been like this. And I said, well, am I doing something wrong? You know, she said, no, Keith has made it so everybody cares about what happens in the school system now. And Tulsa has never paid as much attention to its district as it has since Keith Ballard got there. So we love it. We love the attention, but it's big shoes to fill. So probably time for one more, President Rhonda, if there's one out there, and if not. Yes, sir? What is the enrollment at Tulsa Community College? That's a great question. The enrollment at Tulsa Community College over the course of the year, our head count runs about 28,000. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Wasn't that awesome? It's so informative, and it's such an honor to have you join our club as an honorary member. A book recognizing today's program will be presented to our partner in education school, Celia Clinton, Malcolm Little, and Dr. Goodson has already signed it and put a little note of encouragement in the book. We have our upcoming programs. January 28th is Terry White, State Mental Health Commissioner, will be here next week. And then February 4th will be Sherry Miska, the president of the Mazios Corporation. As we conclude, I hope you enjoy The Warmth of the Sun, performed by the Beach Boys for some light-up Rotary fun to brighten your day and the rest of your week. We are adjourned.